Hello fellow mech warriors, Mage Leader here. Welcome back to the Battlemech Primer, the series where I ramble for a few brief minutes about the various mechs of the Inner Sphere. Having covered several of these designs thus far, I think it's safe to say that I've tended to choose more oddball machines, so today I've decided to go with a mech that gets a lot of love. Today we'll be talking about the Highlander, a 90-ton monster that packs a hell of a punch. The Highlander is one of the more iconic assault mechs of the Inner Sphere. It's a favorite among some of the most prestigious military forces and merc companies to ever exist, and it served with distinction in some of the most legendary engagements the galaxy has ever seen. This was the mech that faced the forces of Stefan Amaris during the coup, piloted by the legendary Black Watch as they made their last stand outside the palace of the First Lord of Star League. This was the mech that stood guard over House Cameron, a physical manifestation of the power the dynasty wielded, and even today it holds renown as the mech of choice for the esteemed warriors of Northwind. So, does this mech live up to the hype? Can it possibly be good enough to fill its own legendary shoes? Well, let's take a closer look at this beast and find out. The Highlander was first produced in 2592 by Starcorps, and unlike the Rifleman, which needed several revisions, the Highlander was almost immediately adopted by the SLDF. It was a solid design that came in dozens of variants, each one a perfect blend of protection, mobility, and firepower. It could mount just about anything and could go just about anywhere. It was a terrifying force on the battlefield, its silhouette alone enough to make even the toughest soldiers begin to rethink their career choices. The default configuration was the HGN-732, which was armed with 2 medium lasers, an SRM-6, an LRM-20, and a motherfucking Gauss rifle, possibly the scariest kind of weapon you can strap onto a mech and still have it walk. Yeah, the Awesome may have 3 PPCs, but a single Gauss rifle will ruin your day just as badly with only a fraction of the heat buildup. Needless to say, its pilots loved it, and not just because of the heavy firepower. You see, the Highlander had something that no other 90-ton mech had at the time. It was equipped with fucking jump jets. Just when you thought they couldn't get any scarier.
They fly now?
Yes, Finn. Yes, they do. Be afraid. Be very afraid. This handy little feature allowed the Highlander to leap over obstacles and keep pace with lighter mechs, but that's not what the Highlander became famous for. The Highlander became famous for landing on top of smaller mechs and totally obliterating them beneath its insane weight. This maneuver is affectionately known as the Highlander Burial, and it was such a popular tactic that later production runs had reinforced leg and ankle joints to make the technique easier to perform. After the Amaris Civil War, the great houses were all eyeing the gaping hole in the Star League caused by the death of the Cameron dynasty. Before long, war broke out over who would get to sit in the pretty chair and wear the fancy head thing. And when I say war, I mean total war. The Amaris Civil War may have devastated the Inner Sphere and periphery, but the First Succession War would make that conflict look like a moderated college debate. The fighting escalated continually, going from simple skirmishes to outright invasions. Old treaties and accords were chucked out the window, and several worlds effectively ceased to exist as they were bombarded into oblivion. The great houses slugged out their differences while striking hard and deep at the heart of their production capabilities. Anyone who knew how to develop and design Battlemech technology was a highly sought-after prize, and also the highest value target. The men and women who had created the war machines were kidnapped, tortured, assassinated, and fought over until none remained. The factories that had once cranked out Battlemechs by the dozens were destroyed as each house sought to cripple the others. As a result, the ability to create new Battlemechs was outright lost, and several models disappeared entirely. While most of the machines I've discussed so far were lucky enough to avoid this fate, the Highlander was not so fortunate. The Starcorps factory on Sanhoa survived the First Succession War, but unfortunately 3 more soon followed. It was destroyed during the Second, and the Highlander ceased production entirely. Highlanders began to disappear from the battlefield as they were destroyed in battle or outright nuked from orbit on worlds deemed not to be worth saving. By the time the Second Succession War ended, it was practically extinct. However, the Highlander was given a new lease on life when Starcorps partnered with Hollis Incorporated to produce the mech from scrap and spare parts. The factories would be rebuilt, but with the incredible loss of technology, they would never again produce mechs at the same level they had during the days of Star League. While it kept the Highlander alive, the machine was still an incredibly rare find, and not the sort of mech you'd see in your average merc company. Today, the Highlander is considered to be a valuable commodity worth a large number of C-bills to the right person, but it's far more than just a collector's item. It's got a formidable amount of firepower, enough to make even the most heavily armored assault mechs take notice. It offers fantastic protection for its pilot, and those jump jets grant it mobility and versatility that's seldom seen in its weight class. In the rare event that you see one deployed on the field now, you'll probably find it being used as a command mech by some wealthy merc commander or a great house general, and almost never given to the rank and file. While it can be a monster if used correctly, it requires an experienced pilot to bring out its full potential. And with its extreme rarity, it's not a machine you want to throw into combat willy-nilly. Buying a Highlander is an investment, and if you're lucky enough to salvage one, don't expect the repairs to be quick or easy, or cheap for that matter. It might be more profitable to haul the carcass over to Northwind and sell it to those weird skirt-wearing haggis lovers. They'll give you a good price for it. Seriously, they're like obsessed with these things. So that's the Highlander. It's a behemoth with a well-deserved reputation, a perfectly balanced assault mech that's sure to turn heads wherever it goes. It may be little more than a status symbol to some, but those who fought against one know firsthand that it's so much more than just another pretty face. Just one more thing though. Never, ever let yourself wind up underneath one. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a comment down below. If you didn't enjoy it, leave a comment down below. I read every single one. Until next time, this is Mage Leader, signing off.